Right, competition time. See if I can record an entire lesson without using the word so, apart from that time. What we've learned so far about algebra is that when we have a equation, or a math sentence, or whatever, we don't know what one of those numbers is, we've got an unknown, sometimes it can just be one, sometimes it can be two. We can represent that number usually as a lowercase letter, so that could be A, F, Z. It doesn't matter, it's always going to be the same. In fact, you don't need to really even use the letter. If you wanted to, you could use a hexagon. Or you could use an emoji. It doesn't matter. In this case, the answer is always going to be the same. Smiley face is 9. It's always going to be the same. So what happens then when we look at what we were looking at yesterday? I've got some gems, I've got some counters, and I've got a cube. And I can say, at the moment I don't know what any of those are, but what happens if I had 2 counters, 1 gem, and 1 cube? What does that equal? Well, what happens if we start saying, well, actually, this gem is worth 3, this one is worth 2, and the big guy is worth 10. I can start substituting them in, can't I? So I've got 3 here. I've got 2 and 2. And then my last one is a 10. So if I added all that up, 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7, plus 10 is 17. But actually maybe this is now no longer worth as much. We've changed our mind about how much this is worth. This is now actually only worth 1. So we're going to have to change our sentence. 1, 1. Which is now, if you added all that up, is going to be worth 15. Okay, so you have unknowns. And then as soon as you find out what those unknown numbers were worth, you can start filling them in. And you can see that on here. They start off using different shapes. So here, this is worth 4, this is worth 4, this is worth 5, and so on. We've just been using adding so far, but say I had that was worth, let's make that one worth 10 again. And the counters are worth, let's give it 2. I could have counter this one times that one, and then we'll swap them around. Let's see what the difference is. This one times that one. So it's 10 times 2, which equals 20, or 2 times 10. Hopefully you already worked out that that's worth 20. Okay. Just remember, I said okay. I lost already. So just remember in algebra, instead of saying 2 times square, or 2 times f, whatever letter you're using, you just write 2 square and 2f. Because that makes sense, doesn't it? It's 2 f's, 2 squares. When you're dividing, I'm not sure I've shown you this yet. Instead of saying 2 divided by square, or 2 divided by f, you write this like a fraction. 2 divided by square, or 2 divided by f. These may look hard to begin with, but actually, once you get the hang of it, you'll start realizing it's quite easy. So 3x, well, x is always, in this example, x is always worth 5. Notice as well, we've talked about this before, how x is written like a C in a mirror. It's not written like that. So when we write x in algebra, we always write it like that. That's because that means multiply, doesn't it? So just to make them look different, when we write x, we make it look like two C's back to back. Like a C, the letter C in a mirror. So x is always 5. So this one, the first one, is 3 times 5. 3x's, 3 5's, which equals 15. That's where they got that one from. This one, x squared. Well, let's just replace the x with a 5. That's all you're doing. You're replacing the x with a 5. 5 squared. Hopefully you know what 5 squared is. I'm not going to give you the answer. I'll let you work that one out yourself. 2x minus 5. Well, x is 5. 2x is a 10. Minus 5 equals 5. And then the centre one here. So these ones are really good. So we've got some BODMAS here. That one is 2, 5 plus 1. So remember, we've got to work out what 5 plus 1 is first, which is 2, 6. That just means, remember, there's nothing there, but it means 2 of whatever's in there. And we know that there's 6 in there now. So the answer to that is going to be 12. 2 6's. And what other complicated ones do we have? X divided by 2 is 5 halves. 5 divided by 2. You could write that as a fraction or a decimal. Okay, so that might look tricky, but all we have to do is every time we see an x, replace it with a 5. Don't forget about BODMAS in this question and that question. And that is just 5 divided by 2, half of 5. You can write that as a decimal or a fraction, I don't mind. Okay, fill out that one. See how you get on. Same goes with these ones. This time you've got 2. A in all of these cases is going to be 10. B in all of these cases is going to be 6. This is great. M equals 4/5 and K equals 0.1. So this one's quite hard. But if you figure it out, M is 4/5. And it's 4/5 plus 2 0.1s. Well, I'm going to write this in brackets just to make it easier. 2 times 0.1. That's 2 times 0.1. Hopefully you can work that one out. And then you've got to work out what the answer is, because you've got a fraction plus a decimal. So if I were you, I would change this to a decimal, which hopefully you know is 0.8. 4 out of 5 is the same as 8 out of 10, which is the same as 0.8, plus whatever your answer was there. So, it's starting to get tricky. But take your time. I haven't put any mastery levels in yet. Let's have a quick look at these. Yeah, I should imagine that you might need some help. So, do ask some questions on in the comments. I'll be more than happy to help. I'm sure there'll be lots of people online happy to help as well. And we'll take it nice and slowly. But I believe in you. I think we can do this.